born in West Virginia. Okay, it gets cold there. Then once he moved south, he said, I'm never coming back. Became the GOAT down there. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Nick Saban.
Yeah, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, how you doing, man? A little chilly down here. I thought you South Florida folks didn't have it cold. Like, this feels like more of a home field advantage for Indiana. It's chilly out here, Coach.
Yeah, this is the coldest I've been in this part of the world since I've been coming to this part of the world. So.
What do you think that
Did you
means?
bring it with you?
I tried.
Probably.
Indiana tried to bring it. What do you think of the crowd? What do you think the crowd's going to be tonight? Because
I think Indiana will have a ton of people here. I mean, they have traveled so well. I mean, that game in Atlanta, 3/4 of the stadium was Indiana.
I think it was 90.
Oh, yeah.
I legitimately think
mean,
it was 90%. Oregon so far, and Indiana experiencing something for the first time, which let's talk about. I know Cignetti's been coaching a long time coaching football. His dad coached football. I made a decision 25 years ago. I'm a college football guy.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not an NFL guy. I'm not interested in the NFL. I'm a college football coach.
So he's been doing college football his entire time. This is his first time leading a team into a national championship. I don't know if you remember back to LSU before you did it for the first time with them. What do you think's going through his mind, and what is he trying to get accomplished today, day of national championship?
Yeah, well, I think whatever you did for the 15 games that got you here, you want to make sure your team stays in that mindset. I mean, I know there's a lot of clutter out there when you're playing a big game like this, national championship game, but that's not where you want your players to be. You want them to be focusing on the things they have to do to go out and play well and execute, and let everybody else talk about all that other stuff. So, that's the key. I think one of the things that these guys are going to have to go through, which Kirk's going to have to go through, is he has done this phenomenal job at Indiana. So everybody wanted to come to Indiana. People wanted to transfer there. Everybody wanted to go there because they wanted to prove something. That's how it was at Alabama. And then when you went in 2009 and you climbed the mountain successfully, you become the mountain. Now everybody wants to come because of what your program can do for them. And that dynamic changes everything dramatically in terms of how you got to motivate your players, how you put together your team. It's easy to pick guys like our 2009 team was the first national championship at Alabama. Julio, Mark Barron, all those guys came to Alabama because they wanted to prove something. They were Alabama guys. But once we won, everybody was coming to Alabama for what Alabama could do for them. And that changed the dynamic dramatically, and that was more challenging for me as a coach.
I think Sig will be able to figure it out, but he has certainly done a great job rallying the troops. And let's talk about Cristobal.
No doubt.
Obviously, 5-time national championships here. He said to us last week, and I'm sure he's reiterated it during one of the 30 media things that they both have had to do.
Yeah.
He said he didn't want to go to his grave without Miami being Miami again. How do you think he's done building this place back up, and what do you like about the identity of his team that he's built?
Well, I think their identity is built on physicality, which doesn't surprise you for an old offensive line coach. I mean, that's what those guys harp on all the time. But I think he's done a phenomenal job. I think they've built these programs a little bit differently, and it's taken, a little longer for Mario to be able to bring it to where he wanted to bring it. Didn't have as many transfers, had a lot of guys that he tried to recruit, changed the culture here, and I think he's done a phenomenal job. But I'm going to tell you what, being around here, living around here, there's never been this much excitement in this city since maybe the 1972 Dolphins went undefeated. It's phenomenal, and I think it's contributed to by Fernando being from here, Mario having played here. Both of them are, Cuban Americans, and there's a great community here, and a lot of people have been successful that way. It speaks volumes for, this city, but it also speaks volumes for our country, and people have an opportunity to come and have a chance to be successful. I think it's phenomenal.
I had a little cafecito time a little bit ago. It is a beautiful culture down here that we've been enjoying. Tone has a take on Miami and Fernando Mendoza, and then a question for you.
Yeah, I do. The take on Miami and Mendoza is just, how good he is and how he's going to test the Miami secondary here early. But then a lot of it is being made, about you and your coaching tree. Obviously, Mario was with you, Sig was with you, but there's a situation in this game where Miami's DC, Corey Heatherman, was with Cignetti for 3 years at James Madison. So, how does that change things? When you're playing your ex-coaches or coordinators and stuff like that, do you have to do things differently? Do you worry that he knows who you are? How does that all work when you're coming into a big game like this?
Well, when I went into it, I never wanted to change things that much for our players.
Yeah.
thinking that they know what we're going to do. Well, we know what they're going to do too. So it kind of evens out. But it still comes down to your players being able to execute what they do, and the other guy doesn't know when you're going to do what you're going to do, even if he knows what you might be going to do.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
But the only time I really changed significantly was when LSU beat us in 2011, and we played them in the national championship game for a second time. I thought we had to change, but we had a lot of time to do it. In those days, you're playing one game for the national championship, so we had a whole month to do it. So, but that's the only time I ever really changed a lot, whether it was special teams, how we were going to do punt returns. All those things changed so that they couldn't take advantage of what they knew about us.
Coach, if you're the Miami offense, I guess, how do you slow down this Indiana defense? We've been watching the firsthand now from the end zone. We were lucky enough to call these games. And the movement, the stunts, the twist, everything that this D-line does for Indiana and the linebackers coming from depth, disguise and everything, I guess what would you do if you're the Miami offense to try to slow them down?
Well, I think the key to the drill is Miami's offensive line, can they handle the movement up front by Indiana? And look, when you watch Miami's offensive line, they are one of the most well-coached offensive lines. I mean, they come off step, second step on the ground. So when you move, they collect you, and they don't take big splits. So there's not a whole lot of area to penetrate. And I did a tape on this, for tonight about how they collect people when they move and how they take over people and how they bump. If they can't control the line of scrimmage in this game, they're going to have a hard time. If they can control the line of scrimmage and do what they did to Ole Miss and have, 3 or 4 or 5 13-play drives where they kept the ball for 41.5 minutes in the game, that's the only way they're going to have a chance to win. But I tell you what, I wouldn't bet against them. And Indiana's not as big, but they're more athletic, and they are quick as hell, and they execute, and they are not going to beat themselves.
We were talking about you thinking about these two rosters, because obviously the Alabama team that we've kind of grown up to see, you got 5 stars all across the board. And you've said multiple times, I've learned I'm not that good of a coach if I don't have good players. So I need to have great players. You look at this Miami team. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, speaking of that, Coach, when you do have that massive star disparity between two teams, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, is there a chance that some of these guys for Indiana maybe in a crucial moment, we see, hey, this is why this guy was at JMU and why he didn't initially, go to an SEC school or an ACC team. If we do get that moment and it's close late, do you think Miami has any advantage because they have played close games throughout the playoffs, whereas Indiana has just beat the shit out of everybody and they haven't played a close game in almost a month since the Big Ten championship?
Well, I got a little theory about the first part of what you said about the stars. We never ever looked, and I know Sig doesn't either, at how many stars a guy has. Because I think what you all need to do is look at who's giving out the stars.
No.
Yeah.
They don't know their ass from a handful of sand when it comes to what a football player is. So why would you as a coach depend on somebody who's not even a coach evaluating players to give them stars? I say all the time, Josh Jacobs had no stars. Damian Harris was a 5-star. They were both really good players, don't get me wrong, but Josh Jacobs was a first-round draft pick and Damian Harris was a third-round. Josh Jacobs still playing, Damian Harris is not. So when you evaluate the players on your own in terms of the criteria of what you're looking for at each position that fit in your system and the criteria of the kind of people you want to make the culture of your team what it is, which I think Sig has done a fantastic job of, because it's culture over system. I mean, if you don't have a good culture, you're never going to execute the system no matter how good it is. So that's what they've done such a great job of at Indiana, in my opinion. So I'm just not a big fan of the stars. I never knew how many stars a guy had until signing day.
They went to your place?
Until signing
Most
day.
of them.
They had 5. And if they didn't have 5, as soon as you offered them, it was funny how those changed. We got actually a new piece of tape on this guy. Saban likes him. That's a 5-star. That's a 5-star. But it is, to your point about Sig, you have to adjust. Hungry, want to prove something too, okay, now you got to carry the torch. It does feel like Indiana has maybe got to that. Miami too, though. I mean, that's the Carson Beck kind of coming in. Hey, you got to continue to live up with what Cam did last year and what we were able to accomplish. Good job turning these programs around. Go ahead, D-Ball.
Yeah, but this team kind of around Carson Beck, you talked about the energy down here, the excitement down here. It's a lot of hometown kids down here. Malachi Tony, Ruben Bang, Fletcher Jr. What's the messaging in that locker room getting prepared for this game in your home stadium? Because I know outside they're 8.5-point dogs. We didn't really know that when we played. They probably know it now in this environment. So what's the messaging in that locker room, Coach Cristobal, to the guys to not make the moment too big in front of your family and your home crowd? What's that messaging going into this big game tonight?
Well, you know, you guys have heard me talk about this before. There's nothing more that motivates this young generation of people than being disrespected. And I'm sure that Miami's probably using the whole fact that they're 8.5-point dogs in this game as a disrespect. You know, they're making us irrelevant in terms of all that we've accomplished, and nobody wants to be irrelevant. So I think that that's probably part of it. But I do think that you have to control the outside noise. You know, what I was talking about the other day. You can't get caught up in the hype of this game. That's something for fans. That's something for people to enjoy. It's the entertainment business. That's the way it should be. But if you want to execute as a player, you have to have intensity. You can't play too emotional and make dumb decisions and play undisciplined type of football, which, you know, to me is going to be the challenge for Miami.
Yeah.
Because when they've struggled, it's because of the mistakes that they make.
Yeah.
And they say we have resiliency and we can overcome those mistakes. That's great. I always coach resiliency in our teams. I want them to be relentless. I want them to be resilient. But at the same time, just because you can overcome it doesn't make it okay to do it.
Yeah, you
and
start
make
chewing
mistakes and put yourself in the hole.
Yeah, you start chewing out Cristobal on game day.
Well, he deserved it.
Hated those penalties. We were in real time watching them happen. It's like, yo, and Tone actually said they've been getting to like this point and then just pulling out the biggest gun they possibly can and shooting themselves, and then immediate penalty, turnover, penalty. It's like started happening in that big of a game this late into the season. You'd think it wouldn't. And then obviously there's a suspension happening with that. Good news. Good news for tonight's game. This is the best officiating crew that we've seen.
Yes.
We've been doing this for multiple years now on the field, a lot of interactions with the refs. This particular show here, and I would say me, D-Butt, and AJ, the most, strictly because you guys haven't, you get it. We understand what a ref can do and what a ref can't do for a game. We've seen friends get fired because of bad officiating, and we've seen like no accountability to refs, and we know how important they are to literally how every single game goes, what they're letting, what they're not letting. The Big 12 crew, Mike Vanderveld. Mike Vanderveld is the white cap. Great.
Stud.
This is him right here. He's got a lot of moxie. He's very comfortable, and he lets the boys play. This crew lets the boys play. They like football. They appreciate being there. And I think the college world got it right with this group. But that bodes very well for both teams, I guess, but definitely Miami.
Absolutely.
It definitely bodes well for Miami, Coach, because they like to hit. These refs will not call those hits.
The A&M game was the ones where they were on, where we mentioned it several times on the broadcast, like, wow, these guys are really head-hunting out here, and it's kind of just they're letting it happen.
Yeah.
But, Miami played a clean game against Ohio State.
Nope.
They wouldn't beat Ohio State if they didn't. They were physical in the game, and they actually out-physical them when you watch the film. But they have to play that kind of game in this game. One good thing about this officiating crew, I do think it's a good crew. They'll let them play. But the whole idea that this guy's getting suspended for this game,
that's not the refs. We can't blame these refs.
Can't blame these refs, but it's going to change the future of college football because I don't think people are going to buy into this getting suspended for the next game. Find the guys, do whatever you need to do, but this is a national championship game. People are coming to see the best players play. It's not really fair to the players on Miami's team or that young man that he's going to have to sit out the first half of the national championship game. And I think you're going to see that mindset change a little bit because of what's happened in this.
So D-Butt actually, before you got up here, said, unless Coach Saban can change this before tonight, you are going to have to be one of the driving forces for these types of things. Your voice does carry a lot of weight, and I appreciated that last game day. You said, this guy, what are we doing? He's going to miss a half of next game. People forgot about the hit already.
Yeah.
And if you want to kick him out for the rest of that game, do it. Do what you got to do. And I'm thankful that they don't send him to the locker room anymore. Like, you're allowed to stand on the sideline with your team because you're a part of the team because something happened, which is good. But we don't need to carry over punishment the next.
Right.
I don't think any of us really.
Terrible.
Especially with the professionalism of sport. To your point, it's like, let's put the best. This is a national championship. If the guy's healthy, yeah. What happened? Well, he kind of
led with his shoulder.
He tried playing football
Yeah.
too much.
It was the last. It's
A
like
personal
that's
foul is a big enough deterrent. You don't have to sit him out a half of the next game because you're right. Like no one remembers that.
we still don't remember it.
Yeah, that's sort of. If I'm launching my head at somebody's head, like I'm not thinking, oh, I don't have to sit out the half of the next game. Like 15 yarders, bad enough. Like that's a huge deal, like especially on
Yeah.
third down.
But let me say this. If I was coaching this group up here, the best deterrent I had as a coach was first the bench, but second, finding your ass.
Okay.
Because for years I tried to get people to go to class. For years I tried to people like you, get you to go to
I would
class.
not.
The only way would have been fine you.
Yeah.
Take your money.
Yeah.
The players are making money now.
Yeah.
They should be fine. When I started finding players, they started going to class. They didn't miss training table. They were on time all of a sudden. It's amazing.
I would have got out a loan, so I don't know if you know this story. I got $40,000 out in loans in college just to have a good time. I thought if I made it to the NFL, I'll be able to pay it off, and if I don't, I'll be in debt with everybody else. There's like 40% interest on those.
Oh yeah, terrible.
40%.
I don't like that idea though, Coach. Especially in college. Don't find it. Find a coach. You know, it's a great saying. You either coaching it or allowing it. So I think find a coach, find a school. You know, let the kids figure it out. Keep their NIL.
So you're either coaching it or making it happen.
Yep.
Or allowing it to
So,
happen, yeah.
Yeah, allowing it to happen.
Yeah, did you
agree with that?
Interesting concept. That's what I always told our coaches. That's
Okay.
how I got on our staff's ass about getting guys to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Was if you ain't coaching it, you're letting it happen.
Yep.
I wouldn't have gone to class, and I would have felt terrible about the special teams guy that would have been taking it on the shins. And he would have came and talked to me. He was like, I can't. I don't know what you want from me. Okay, just check the grades at the end of the semester, please.
Coach, I had one more question for you. I saw a quote this week. It was from one of the IU players. I can't remember who it was, but he said, Coach Sig doesn't really coach us. He coaches the coaches, and then they coach us. What does he mean by that?
Well, I think when you observe things, you're observing things. Okay, so you can either go directly to the player and say, hey, you used the wrong footwork, you had the wrong hand placement, whatever it might be, and coach the guy over top of the coach that's coaching them. Or you can go to the coach and say, hey, look, these guys are not using the right footwork. They don't have the right hand placement. And when I used to coach the coaches was all the time is when we watched the film after practice. You know, on the practice field, I got to be honest with you. I coached the secondary the whole time I was a head coach. And I was the GA for whoever the secondary coach was, but I was taking over. So, but everybody else, I let the coaches coach. And then when we watched the film, you know, I would coach the coaches and say, this is bad footwork with the offensive line, or the receiver's not at the right depth in the route, or whatever it was, or the punter is not taking the right steps, and when it's New York protection, he's supposed to kick the ball to the left.
The ball went that way.
We always coach the coaches.
Yeah.
And I think that helps them develop. But the other thing I always did with Sig knows is every time we hired a coach, I made the whole staff interview him. Because it's two things. It's the whole staff learns maybe a whole new system that this guy runs on offense, defense, or whatever, so it makes them better coaches and they have better understanding. But it also gets us a better chance to evaluate, can this guy actually present to players like we're the staff as players, and how good is he at teaching? So I'm sure Sig does that too.
Yeah, I think it worked out. How'd you feel about the quote about you don't go to war with warm cookies?
Warm milk and cookies.
Warm milk and cookies. What do you think he's trying? He's talking to his players there, right?
Absolutely.
Everything
the media.
Everything him and Cristobal were saying for all this was directly to the players. Like Cristobal comes on and he's like, all my guys care about is work. Okay, that's all they care about. They don't talk. They just want to work. It's like, oh, he's talking to the boys right now. Hey, if anybody's asking any questions, we're just here to work. And then Signetti's smiling in some of these things. A lot of people saying, hey, Sig seemingly smiling in a couple of these moments, and we need our edge back.
Yeah, it's a psychotic smile. It's not like, oh, hey, how doing? You know, it's he's thinking 40 steps ahead already.
What a wonderful college football story it would be for Indiana, but also Miami. Yep. Tonight, a lot of storybook shit can happen here at the national championship of big college football. And we're thankful you joined us all year. You had a hell of a year this year.
Yeah, well, you know, let me say this. It's good for college football when teams like Indiana do what they've done.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I mean, it's great for college football. It gives everybody hope that we can turn our program around and we can have success if we have the right people and the right culture. But it's also great for college football when communities like Miami, the U and the tradition that they have, get back into it where there's a lot of interest in that. So this game to me is tremendous for both sides, and whoever wins, it's going to be great for college football.
Now, I didn't get the memo because I'm not a part of it. Who are you SEC people pulling for? Another national championship, rooting for anybody else, or what do you guys? Yeah, you can't have. What do you?
To me, in this day and age of the culture we have now in college football, paying players name, image, and likeness, transferring, it's an advantage for the Big Ten. I don't care. You'll never convince me otherwise.
The North?
The North.
The North?
Because people in the South would not go to the North unless you paid them.
Right.
Jeremiah Smith.
Yep.
Hey, talk about the tradition, though. I know you had to deal with this on your sidelines with all the former champions and all pros and all these Heisman winners that want to come back and be a part of them as they should. With Miami, how do you deal with that with all these Hall of Famers that's probably living local? Like, how do you decide who can be on that sideline and who can't in these type of games?
Well, I used to try to let them all there, but the college football playoff people wouldn't give me enough passes. But at the same time, I think it's good for your players to be able to see people who have been successful in the program and what they learned at the U or Indiana or wherever it is, that they know that they have a chance to carry on and be successful because they identify with, those kind of, people that they can see have success.
Yep.
I mean, it's great for them. And I think we should let that happen in college football as much as we can, because a lot of the guys that play this game, they need role models. And those guys can fill that bill for them, at least from an athletic standpoint. And some of them do great things from a character standpoint and a community support standpoint, which is good for players to see as well.
Yeah, Michael Irvin is a mascot for the Hurricane. I know Caney is, but Michael Irvin is.
Sebastian. All right, it's not Caney, Sebastian. All right?
We're in Caney's building right now. I guess I should have a little bit more respect. Sebastian is his name. Great mascot.
Sure.
And then also Bicey.
Yeah. Bicey's a good one.
Bicey's the Hoosier mascot is great. How did you feel about your ex-players maybe giving speeches in the middle of the game? Did you hear about this, Carson Beck? Incredible. Ray Lewis walks up to him.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis walks up to him, and I love that Cristobal's like, yeah, if Ray Lewis wants to talk to my quarterback before a drive, like, go ahead. Ray Lewis walks up, introduces himself. Hey, Carson, my name's Ray Lewis. Why don't you go win this game for us? And then walks away. I think that's beautiful. I think that's a good thing whenever the entire university is kind of pouring in. Can't have everybody talking, I think, to a lot of these players. How did you manage that? Was there any, did alumni come back, speak to team, talk to team? How comfortable was everybody whenever they came back with your teams?
I think the guys were comfortable, and they were all players trying to talk to players during the game.
Okay.
But, once you establish a culture in an organization, which Miami had a great culture when Ray Lewis played, and Ray Lewis has talked to our team, and I got a tremendous amount of respect for him as a person, a leader, and as a player. But when you establish a culture, the players expect the other players to live up to that culture. So we were having 7-on-7 one day, and Julio Jones was there getting rehab. And he was watching 7-on-7, and in those days the coaches weren't allowed to be out there. So a receiver drops the ball, kicks the ball, cusses the quarterback, cusses the DB and all that. Julio calls him over and says, that ain't how we do it here, son.
Oh.
And it was like 10 years after he played there.
Oh.
So, but I'm saying that tradition and that culture and people being responsible to carry that on is important to me as a coach, that players are doing that to reinforce what you're trying to do, but they know that that's helped past players be successful. It can help me be successful.
Can we get Julio and Ray Lewis in the West Virginia Mountaineer building as soon as possible? I think we need a lot of that. I think we need a lot of that. Coach, hell of a season out of you, man.
A
lot of fun.
it.
I hope you have an incredible offseason after tonight, and you're the man. Thank you for everything.
Well, it's been fun, and you make it fun for me, and I appreciate it.
Hey, the Predators.
Good.
How they doing?
Hey, they beat Colorado in Colorado for the first time in a long
Big
time.
win.
And then got the lining kicked out their ass the next night. But I'm with them.
Long season.
That's Pup.
Long season.
That's Pup.
Thanks, Golden Knights.
We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the GOAT, Nick Saban.
Coach. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Enjoy it.
I think
Appreciate you.
Hey, muted you as soon as I said it. Said, get this man off the stage. That's what Nick did back in the truck right there. Hey, you're the best. Can I get a selfie with you? Boys?
Oh, yeah.
You look great.
See you later.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you. Run fast while you have the chance.